Hi there and welcome to another Fusion 360 tutorial. So this is how far we've got with our flange project. We've got our flange that we modeled earlier from a drawing of a flange and a pipe with a flange that matches. So all we need now is the bolts to hold this together. Now we could model the bolts, they wouldn't take us that long to do, but there is a quicker way, a pretty useful feature. We can go to Insert and insert McMaster Car Component. Now, McMaster Car Components, this gives you a huge database of components already done that we can insert to our drawings. So basically we need an M14 bolt. So if we search for M14, and we'll see what comes up. So here we are, all different sizes and shapes of bolts. Now we'll go for a hex head and something like this one here, thread size M14, and there we go. So fully threaded or not, we have different options. That's M14 by 2 millimeters. And then they come in different lengths, obviously. So we need to choose a part number first of all. So we need to choose one that's the correct length. Let's see, where's their length here? Minimum length. I think we have to open it up to see. 25 millimeters long. So this first number here tells us the length. So let's see how long we actually need first of all. So if we measure from here to the other side, 24. So 25 would be just about right. It wouldn't give us any extra though to put a nut on. So we may want to go a little bit longer. So let's search it up again. So it's an M14. Hex head. M14 size. 30 would probably be about right, 30 to 35, but we'll go for the 30. It's the second one on the list. Product detail in CAD. And here is the 3D image. So we'll go for the step file, 3D step file, and we go to save. And it will basically now insert it here into our drawing, as you can see. Already done for us, are kind of them. And it's just a matter of placing it. Now I think that our pipe may collide with our hex head, so we may need to make some adjustment. Okay, so to position this properly, what we can do is use the point-to-point feature. So point-to-point, we'll select the center of this and we'll go to the center of that. There we go. Okay, and as you can see there, it's colliding with the head of our pipe. So we're going to need to edit our pipe, make our pipe diameter smaller, or you'd have to make your flange bigger, whichever suits your purpose. So we'll just make our pipe diameter a little smaller. Move that in by 2 millimeters. And we'll move this in by 2 millimeters, or maybe 3, just to make sure. And we go to save. And now we update our component. You see here it's out of date. See if that's moved in enough. There we go, and now we have enough clearance for our bolt head. But is there enough space for it to turn? That's going to be the next question, because that's the flat side. Let's check that. So if we grab our bolt here and we rotate it around, there's just enough clearance for it to turn around. That looks good. Okay, so what we need to do now is move the bolt down surface to surface. So we can use the align tool, which will be here. So we'll align this surface with this surface, and there we go. So there is our bolt now placed. Now we're going to need 4 of these all together. We've got 1 here already, so we can probably create an array. I think a pattern here, circular pattern. Oops. Circular pattern. So there's our object. Now we select our axis that we want the pattern to be around. And it's going to be around our vertical axis there. Actually, we need a vertical axis here. There we go. And we need 4 of them. And there we go. There's our 4 bolts now placed correctly onto our flange. So finally we may want to add a hex nut to the other side of here, which again we can find in McMaster Car. So again, insert a McMaster Car component, and we're going to want nuts. It will be hex nut. Thread size will be 14 millimeters again. Metric. Let's see, do we have a M14 here? It's going to be in the 10 to 24 size. That's length of the thread. Hold on. It's just M14 nut. Let's see what we can get here. So hex nuts, metric, there we go, M14. Product details as before. 3D step file. Save. And it'll insert it into our drawing here. Now we'll line them up. So in this case, we go point to point. We're going to go from the center of this to the center of this. Capture our position. Now you can see that the bolt that we chose is a little bit short. It needs to be slightly longer. So we'll arrange this into our pattern like we did before. So circular pattern around this axis, 4 pieces. Okay. Now I want to change out this component. We need one that's a little longer. So we'll delete 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. Insert McMaster Car Component, some M14 bolt, hex head, M14, and we got 30 last time, so we'll go for 35 this time. It's the third one on the list. Get the CAD drawing. And we're going to move this point to point like last time. Origin point is here. Now target point, we'll make it this side. Like so. Okay, capture position. That looks perfect now. May even be a little bit, it's a little bit short, but not too much. We can just pull this back slightly. Yeah, just a fraction of a millimeter there. You see the collision, so we'll just drag this back. 0.7. And finally, again, we make the circular array. So pattern, circular pattern. Select the object first. Our axis, 4 pieces. And then I noticed that the hex nuts are a little bit not quite flush, so we'll drag these back. .5, 0.4, 0.4. And there we go. There we have our flange bolted on to the end of our pipe. We checked everything fits. There's no collisions. Everything's good. And we've inserted the components from McMaster Car. Feel free to browse through McMaster Car and look. There's plenty of other stuff in there that's useful. Saves you having to do modeling work, and there's a standard off-the-shelf components. You know when you buy it, that's the size you're going to get. You know you can get it. There's no customizations needed. And that's the end of our tutorial. We'll just play through the various steps that we went through here. The insertion of the parts, the insertion of the hex nuts, and our bolts. And there we go. So, thanks very much for tuning in. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We'll be doing more tutorials and starting to ramp up the complexity of what it is we're doing and get more interesting. Let me know in the comments section below if there's something particular that you'd like me to cover. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.